The movie opens with a haunting scene featuring a young girl, her face eerily painted with white and black stripes around her lips and chin as she frantically runs from an unseen entity. The tense atmosphere builds as she races through a graveyard, eventually making her way to the sanctuary of her parents' house. Upon her arrival, her concerned parents immediately questioned her about the situation. The girl, however, is unable to recall the events that led her there, adding a layer of mystery to the narrative. Years later, the story shifts focus to Sandy, now a college-bound student. We find her in the privacy of her room, engaging in the act of smoking weed. This moment is interrupted by her brother Eli, leading Sandy to quickly hide the evidence of her indulgence. Their interaction is brief but telling. Sandy casually helps Eli adjust his tie, suggesting a close sibling bond. Parallel to this, we witness a conversation between Sandy's boyfriend, Jake, and his sister Lex. The dialogue reveals aspects of their relationships and individual personalities. Lex probes Jake about his intentions with Sandy, hinting at a deeper conversation about commitment and future plans. Jake, however, remains non-committal, not wanting to be tied down by long-term plans. In a bold move to display her own commitment in her relationship, Lex reveals a tattoo bearing her boyfriend TJ's initials, underscoring the seriousness of her feelings. The plot thickens with the introduction of Chad, a character who is caught in a morally dubious situation. He is seen engaging in an intimate encounter with Hannah, a scene abruptly halted by the imminent arrival of Layla, Chad's girlfriend. This moment of tension reveals Chad's deceitful nature. He admits to lying to Hannah about breaking up with Layla, simply to manipulate her into an intimate relationship. Hannah's forced exit via the balcony adds a layer of urgency and secrecy to their affair. In a more formal setting, Sandy and Eli are seen attending a luncheon with Dr. Warren, accompanied by their parents. This scene serves to highlight the academic achievements and potential of the siblings. Dr. Warren praises their exceptional qualities and informs the parents of his recommendation for the siblings to receive a full academic scholarship. This moment of recognition sets the stage for the unfolding of events and the development of the characters as they navigate their complex lives and relationships. In the pivotal scene of the movie, the mood shifts as the group of friends prepares to play a mysterious game. Their plans take an unexpected turn when a mysterious girl appears seemingly out of nowhere, expressing a desire to join them. Despite the sudden and unusual nature of her arrival, the group welcomes her, and Jake takes on the role of explaining the rules of the game. It's a ghost-themed hide-and-seek, where one person becomes the ghost, searching for others. As each person is found, they too become a ghost, and the game continues until only one person remains undiscovered, thus claiming victory. Eli, embracing the spirit of the game, volunteers to be the first ghost. The friends gather, joining hands in a circle, and recite a chilling chant that sets the tone for the game. The words of the chant are creepy, hinting at themes of exclusion, fate, and the supernatural. The chant concludes, and the game begins in earnest, with everyone scattering to hide as Eli starts his search. As the game progresses one by one, each friend is found. In a surprising twist, the new girl emerges as the winner. Having skillfully eluded Eli, Sandy approaches her to acknowledge her victory, only to be confronted with a haunting question. The girl, standing dangerously close to the edge of a cliff, asks Sandy if she remembers her. Sandy's inability to recognize her leads to a shocking moment where the girl declares that Sandy will remember her, and then she tragically jumps off the cliff. The group, now in a state of shock and disbelief, quickly informs the police about the incident. However, the police's thorough search yields no trace of the girl, deepening the mystery of her identity and her disappearance. As the night draws to a close, the group disperses, each person grappling with the evening's unsettling events. The story then takes us through a flashback, revealing a younger Sandy playing the same game with the mysterious girl. This glimpse into the past sheds light on their relationship. A moment of vulnerability is shared as the girl pauses to use her asthma inhaler. Sandy, noticing a beautiful flower in the girl's hair, learns it is a forget-me-not, symbolizing remembrance and used to honor the dead. The girl, sharing wisdom from Sister Dolores, speaks of faith and friendship, Despite the possibility of having many friends, she confesses her sole desire for Sandy's companionship. The flashback ends in a heartfelt declaration of eternal friendship, a deep contrast to the present mystery and tragedy. A new day dawns, revealing Chad and Layla in a moment of relationship turmoil beside a serene lake. The night has been spent in Chad's car, parked in this calm setting. The vibe of the morning, however, is shattered by Chad's blunt revelation. He desires to end their relationship, expressing a reluctance to be bound to anyone. This declaration deeply hurts Layla, prompting a visceral reaction as she angrily discards a necklace, a symbol of their relationship, into the lake. The scene intensifies as Chad, indifferent to Layla's emotional state, leaves her alone, driving away without a backward glance. In a desperate attempt to reclaim a piece of her lost relationship, Layla disrobes and plunges into the lake to retrieve her necklace. It's here that the plot takes a sinister turn. Layla encounters the mysterious girl from the previous night. Mistaking her for someone in need of help, Layla approaches, only to be met with a fatal outcome as the girl drowns her. Shifting focus, the narrative introduces TJ, who is brimming with excitement and anticipation. Unbeknownst to Lex, he has purchased an engagement ring, planning a surprise proposal. Meanwhile, Chad arrives at Sandy's house with his new girlfriend Cecilia, carelessly disregarding any mention of Layla. The arrival of Jake on his motorbike adds to the gathering. A spooky sequence unfolds as TJ, under the influence of drugs, perceives a ghostly figure. His altered state leads to a tragic end when he is violently propelled into a wood-chopping machine by the mysterious girl, marking another chilling turn in the story. Lex's father drops her off at Sandy's house, and the group decides to head to the beach. On their way, a spontaneous race ensues between Eli and Jake, with Jake emerging victorious. Meanwhile, Chad, with Cecilia in tow, finds himself at the hospital under mysterious circumstances. A haunting flashback experienced by Sandy reveals a past incident where the mysterious girl felt betrayed during a game with Sandy, Jake, and others. This memory casts a shadow over the present, where Sandy's references to TJ are met with confusion from her friends, as if TJ never existed. In a disturbing twist, Lex lures a storekeeper to the back room for an intimate encounter, using the distraction to facilitate the group's theft of drinks. Sandy, aware of Lex's infidelity and troubled by the group's obliviousness to TJ's existence, confronts the situation. However, her concerns are met with bewilderment, particularly from Jake, who questions who TJ is, deepening the mystery and tension of the unfolding story. As the plot thickens, Chad finds himself on the way to the beach in his car. His journey takes a harrowing turn when he suddenly spots the ghostly figure of the mysterious girl on the road. Startled, he pulls over and gets out of the car, only to be confronted by a terrifying ghost on the roadside. Shaken, Chad hurriedly returns to his car, intent on reaching the beach. However, his escape is cut short as the ghost of the girl attacks him from the back seat. This unexpected assault leads to a tragic end for Chad. His car crashes and bursts into flames, sealing his fate. Meanwhile, Sandy and her friends are ready to set off after Lex finishes up. A conversation about Jake's bike ensues, with Jake mentioning that he left it at home. Tensions escalate among the group, leading to a heated argument. Amidst this discord, Sandy notices something peculiar. Chad's car is abandoned in an old garage. Strangely, she is the only one who seems to recall Chad, leaving her bewildered and isolated in her concern. Compelled to investigate further, Sandy leads the group to TJ's house, only to discover it in a state of severe neglect and seemingly abandoned for years. As Sandy and Jake explore the house, Eli waits outside while Lex and Hannah stay in the car. The tension mounts as Hannah exits the car, frustrated with Lex attempting to follow after a brief pause. However, Lex's pursuit is cut short by a chilling encounter with the ghost of the girl. In a terrifying sequence, Lex is not only pursued by the ghost of the girl but also by the ghosts of Layla, TJ, and Chad. The horrifying situation escalates as Lex falls into a hole on the beach, with the sand rapidly filling it in. In a desperate attempt to save her, Sandy rushes to her aid, but her efforts are fruitless as Lex sinks into the sand, the ghostly girl holding her hand, preventing any rescue. In the aftermath of this tragedy, Sandy, bewildered and desperate, implores her friends for a shovel to help Lex, but to her dismay, they have no recollection of Lex or the harrowing events that just transpired. The group then seeks out Lex's father, a police officer, hoping for answers. They inquire about the girl they encountered at the graveyard, only to learn that her name is Angela, and she now resides in a convent. Sandy, feeling the weight of recent eerie events, convinces her remaining friends that their safety lies in staying together. They agree, and the group heads to a motel to seek refuge for the night. In an attempt to ensure Sandy gets some rest amid the chaos, Jake and Hannah secretly give her a sleeping pill, disguising it in a beer. Sandy consumes the drink and soon falls into a deep sleep. While Sandy sleeps, her dreams take her back in time to her childhood. She sees vivid memories of herself and her friends, their faces painted white, deeply immersed in their ghostly game. These memories, however, are interrupted as Sandy, still under the influence of the sleeping pill, begins to sleepwalk. She moves about restlessly, breaking things in her path. Jake tries to intervene and calm her, but his efforts are unsuccessful as Sandy continues her disturbed movements. Meanwhile, the night unfolds for the others as well. Eli and Hannah, seizing a moment of privacy, head to the motel's pool where they become intimate. Shortly after, Hannah leaves to fetch some drinks, leaving Eli to return to their room. During her absence, Hannah encounters the ghostly figures of their dead friends. In a frightening chase, these figures pursue and ultimately claim Hannah's life. Sandy, waking from her stormy sleep, finds herself in a world where Hannah has mysteriously disappeared. Jake, equally confused, has no knowledge of Hannah's whereabouts. In the midst of this confusion, Eli calls Sandy, urging her to return home as he can no longer provide an alibi for her. He cryptically hints that he is already back at home. Determined to uncover the truth, Sandy decides to visit the convent, taking Jake with her. Upon their arrival, they meet Sister Dolores and inquire about Angela. Sister Dolores, surprised by Sandy's knowledge of Angela, reveals a shocking piece of information. Angela has been hospitalized in a permanent coma. Intrigued, Sandy is shown Angela's room by Sister Dolores, while Jake is left in the company of Father Michael, as the room is restricted to girls. In Angela's room, Sandy discovers unsettling demonic drawings. Simultaneously, Jake, while playing catch with a child, follows a ball that rolls downstairs. Back in Angela's room, Sister Dolores expresses disbelief that the drawings could be Angela's work. Sandy, however, insists on the reality of the drawings and their connection to the haunting events. The narrative reaches a climax when Sandy rushes to find Jake, only to witness a horrifying scene. Through a locked door, she watches as Jake is confronted and ultimately killed by the ghostly figures, now composed of all of Sandy's dead friends, led by Angela. In a moment of terror and disbelief, Sandy opens the door, only to find that everyone, including Jake, has vanished, leaving her alone in the haunting silence of the convent. In a mix of emotions, Sandy, overwhelmed and distraught, flees the convent. She is unexpectedly met by Eli at the door, who is unaware of the recent horrific events and has no recollection of Jake. Sandy, desperate for some sense of normalcy, is taken home by Eli. During the drive, she pours out her heart, recounting the harrowing experiences and showing Eli the picture she discovered in Angela's room. Eli listens intently, and as they dissect the rules of the ghostly game they've been trapped in, they come to a chilling realization. To end the nightmare, Angela must die. Upon arriving home, Sandy's parents, mistaking her distress for depression, have arranged for her immediate hospitalization. Dr. Warren administers a shot to Sandy to stabilize her, and she is swiftly taken to the hospital. Meanwhile, the ghostly figures continue their relentless pursuit, finding Eli and tragically ending his life. In the hospital, a medicated Sandy drifts into a deep sleep, her mind replaying a crucial flashback. It reveals a cruel prank played by Sandy and her friends on Angela in their youth. They chase Angela, faces painted white in a horrifying mockery, leading to her falling at the convent's door and suffering a seizure after hitting her head. Sister Dolores's horrified discovery of Angela ties back to the beginning of the movie, revealing the little girl is a young Sandy returning from the convent after the tragic incident. Upon waking, Sandy, driven by a mix of guilt and desperation to end the cycle, heads to the room where Angela lies in a coma. In a drastic and controversial decision, Sandy stops Angela's oxygen supply, effectively ending her life. However, in a shocking turn of events, Angela abruptly awakens, and the ghostly figures of Sandy's friends start to pursue her. The climax of the movie unfolds on the rooftop, where Sandy encounters a young version of Angela. In a moment of emotional confession, Sandy promises never to forget Angela and to be her forever friend. However, this tender moment is shattered as young Angela's face transforms into a terrifying, ghostly look. The shock of this transformation causes Sandy to lose her balance and fall from the rooftop. The story concludes a few days later, with Angela miraculously waking from her coma. Sister Dolores and Father Michael regard her recovery as a miracle. In a haunting twist of fate, the movie ends with the revelation that Sandy is now the one trapped in a coma. Did this story spook you out? Let us know in the comments below. For more horror movie recaps, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you in the next one. Fear awaits you.